just as you'd imagine Mr. Motivator to be, just on his toes. And this is all because it's kind of the thing we're trying to buy into, really. Health experts are recommending that adults in the East Midlands focus on 10 minutes of brisk walking, not just 10,000 steps. And I think 10,000 steps actually puts a lot of people off. But if you start with 10 minutes of brisk walking, who knows where it'll lead to. Josh Rylatt is he's also our he's like the headmaster, actually. He's from Transformation Fit and joins us now. We've just been talking off air about the fact that what we're trying to do is not do the preachy bit. I'm not saying thou shalt do this or you're a bad person, because the reality is that for most people, fitting in a bit of exercise is pretty tough. And you think 10 minutes, even 10 minutes can be hard because you're busy doing this, busy doing that. You do 3 minutes here and 4 minutes there, and suddenly you think, but when have I got this 10 minutes to do?
Yeah, definitely. And I think the biggest thing that probably puts people off, especially when you hear the number 10,000, like 10,000 steps per day, it just sounds like a lot. And
it is a lot. It's miles.
But if you're doing something that you enjoy, 10,000 steps can go like that. I was speaking to a client of ours who was over in Amsterdam with a few of his family on a stag do at the weekend, and he said he was hitting 25,000 steps a day.
Yeah, how much beer did he drink?
Yeah, that probably offset it a little bit. But when you're doing something you enjoy or something that you're actively engaged in, it's not a lot. But I think the biggest thing which puts people off, and talking about motivation, is it can really limit your motivation and destroy your motivation if you think that what you're trying to do is too far out of reach. So it's better to start small.
And look, that's why because we did the step challenge, which I have to say we really enjoyed, and I enjoyed it. But actually, and I'm still doing it mostly, but not every day. And I've said this on air many times before. I consider myself a really active person. I never stop all day. But what I find is I'm in the car, go to the thing, dash in the car. Do you know what I mean? Dashing around. And actually, when you sort of clock it all up, you think, well, I've dashed about all day. How much under my own feet? Probably not as much as I'd like to. And that's why we're doing. I love this idea of 10 brisk. I mean, we're saying brisk walking. It doesn't matter what it is. Just 10 minutes of moving about that just makes you a little bit out of breath.
Yeah.
Getting a bit of sweat on for 10 minutes.
Just getting my heart rate up for 10 minutes a day. Circling back, I think it's a great place to start for a lot of people. It's not too far out of reach where you just think, you know what, forget that, I'm never going to do that. And it's a good place to get people started.
What's nice, the health experts, I think, have sort of cottoned onto this, and they're saying, we spoke to one earlier in the week, 10 minutes of this a day has a huge effect on your health.
Yeah, I would say for people who are sedentary and people who aren't very active, it can have a big effect. And that should serve as the kickstart, really, to get people into the habit of being more active.
Because if you do 10 today, you do 12 tomorrow.
Yeah,
and 15 the day after.
And it builds up, and sort of we spoke about motivation and Mr. Motivator, and how, most people think of motivation as something you either have or something you have not got. And really, what people need to understand is that motivation is something which you can develop, and just like any skill, you can get better at it, and it will feel a bit awkward and uncomfortable to begin with, but you will get better at it and you will build it up. And it is a skill, just like learning a language or playing football or
and in truth, it's why the couch to 5k stuff's worked for a lot of people, hasn't it? Because it's quite gentle, isn't it? Okay, so you get off the couch the first day and you have a walk around the block or whatever it is, and then the following day you jog for half of it, and do you know what I mean? And suddenly, I can't remember how long it is, in a month or something, you're running 5k. When you think, well, it's just not possible.
That's it. It's sort of like, for the listeners who've got kids or young children in their family, it's when you sort of, my daughter wants to go to the park pretty much every time we leave the school gates, and we've got a park literally just outside of the school gates. So we're forever on there, and her and all her friends love me on the park because I'm strong and I can spin them all around on the merry-go-round, the roundabout. But motivation is like a roundabout. It's sort of a bit awkward and a bit uncomfortable and a bit heavy to begin with. Then you start walking with it, then you can start picking up the pace, then you can start a nice little gentle jog with it, and then, after a while, the roundabout's spinning, and you're just tapping it as you go around. And that's what motivation is, and that's what momentum is for a lot of people. And like the couch to 5k, is sort of incrementally, as you get more and more into the habit of doing it, it feels easier to do. You get better at doing it to a point where you're literally just maintaining it by just tapping the roundabout as it goes round to keep that pace up. And that's what motivation is. And that's how I'd like people to think about it in their mind.
And it's breaking it down into small things, isn't it? And every small thing is succeeded at. And that's, I think, some of the trouble. The message in the past has always been, it's about setting yourself up to fail, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you do not do 10,000 steps a day, if you do 998 steps in a day, you've failed. You haven't.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why I'm not concentrating on steps so much. I just love this idea of 10 brisk. Health experts are saying 10 brisk minutes of walking, but it could be anything. It could be mowing the lawn, digging weeds, doing the ironing, running up and down stairs.
Yeah, just getting the heart rate up.
Yeah.
And one thing that can massively help people who are struggling with implementing this 10 minutes a day, because the 10 minutes a day is the goal, right? But where the diet industry and the commercial gyms and everybody else who's telling you to do these things, where they fall short is they're telling you what to do, but they're not giving you the tactics and the tips on how to actually do it and implement it. And one thing which is super, super useful for people when it comes to implementing a new habit or a new sort of skill which you're trying to develop is not just sort of visualize and identify what it is you want to achieve. You want to actually write down what you want to achieve. You want to write down when you want to achieve it by, because a goal without a deadline is just a dream. And then what you want to do is you want to write down, and there's this thing called an implementation intention technique, and they're called if-then statements. And research shows that by implementing these if-then statements, you can lose twice as much weight as people who just set goals themselves. So what an if-then statement is something as simple. If it's my lunch break on a weekday, then I will go for a brisk walk for 10 minutes. If I get up earlier than my children, then I will go for a brisk walk for 10 minutes. If I get back from work in the evening, then me and my husband, me and my wife, me and my partner will go for a brisk walk for 10 minutes. So what I'd recommend to people is actually to buy a journal, something which is not like a £1 notebook, something that you're going to spend a bit of money on so that you value it more, and actually write down what you're looking to achieve, when you're looking to achieve it by, and then write down several if and then statements relating to that goal, because research says you can be twice as successful by writing these simple if and then statements down, because it solidifies into your mind not just what you're going to do, but how you're actually going to go about doing it as well. And that's something which is super useful and something which we get all of our clients and community members to do in our workshops, which we run regularly at the gym. We're not just telling you, lose weight or do exercise or do a diet. We're actually writing down specific to you, individualized if-then statements relating to what your specific goal is. And that is really, I want people to use that as the take-home message, because it's all well and good saying 10 minutes per day, but how are you going to do that 10 minutes a day? Write down how you're going to do it, when you're going to do it by, and use if-then statements to solidify into your mind when you're going to do it and how exactly you're going to do that.
Josh, thank you so much for coming in as always. You're like a guide for this. And what I love is that, because this, as you know, this program's always run on cake. And what we're not saying is you shall never have another piece of cake, because I couldn't bear that. I love cooking, I love eating. And what we're specifically not saying is this isn't about giving stuff up. It's about doing other things that mitigate stuff.
Adding stuff in, and then, once you've got that momentum and you've got that roundabout spinning and you're just tapping it away, then you can add something else into it.
Josh, thanks ever so much
for
coming.
It's
great. We'll no doubt see you in the next few days or so, but it's great to see you. Thank you.
Thanks
and
again.
if people want some more information, Transformation Fit, of course, is your organisation. And look, we've got 10 minutes till the mid-morning mixtape, so it's time to
do your brisk walk.
Well, yeah, quite. We're not doing excuses.
Do some squats on your chair.
You're outrageous. This is Glenn Campbell.